After a heated argument with her mafia husband, Ryan is done playing the obedient wife. Knowing exactly how to push his buttons, she decided to teach him a lesson, one he will never forget. With a dangerously revealing dress and an attitude to match, she steps into his world of power and darkness, prepared to seduce the beast who already owns her heart. Van's voice trembled with frustration as she faced Jungkook in his grand office, his expressions carved from stone. You don't get to decide everything for me, Jungkook. I'm your wife, not your puppet. Jungkook, his dark eyes flickered with anger, but he remained composed, leaning back in his chair. Jungkook, you are my wife, which means your safety is my responsibility, and yet you went out without telling me. Do you have any idea what could have happened? Vian scoffed, crossing her arms. I went to dinner with Moon, not into a war zone. You act like I'm something fragile doll you need to keep locked away. Jungkook's jaw clenched as he stood up, the room shrinking as he closed the distance between them. You are mine, Van, and when I say I want to know where you are, it is not a request, it's a warning. Van, she refused to back down, meeting his gaze. Maybe I don't want to be yours if it means being treated like a prisoner. JK, his grip tightened around the edge of his desk, his patience hanging by a thread. Be careful with your words, princess. She shook her head with anger flaring in her chest. You don't own me, Jungkook. A dangerous silence settled between them before he spoke, voice low and lethal. Say that again. Van's breath hitched, her pulse racing, but she lifted her chin. You don't own me. Jungkook exhaled sharply, his fingers flexing in restraining himself from doing something reckless. Go to bed before I decide to remind you exactly who you belong to. Her heart pounded, but she turned on her heel, walking away without another word. She wasn't going to let him win this time. The cold silence in the mansion was suffocating. The argument from earlier still echoed in her head. Jeon Jungkook, the ruthless mafia boss, and her husband had dared to dismiss her, like she was just one of his possessions. He thought he could control her. He thought she would always bow to his dominance. But not tonight, as Vine has a different plan. Vine smoked, her reflection in the mirror. The silk dress clung to her curves, the deep neckline plunking dangerously low. The high slit revealed just enough of her thigh to be sinful yet elegant. She knew Jungkook would hate it, and that's exactly why she chose it, her dress. Her fingers traced the faint bruises on her wrist, from where he had grabbed her earlier, his possessiveness getting the best of him. But she wasn't angry, no, she was craving for revenge in the most delicious way possible. Tonight she would not just be his wife, tonight she would be his biggest possession. The sound of his whiskey glass hitting the table was sharp, his patience already wearing thin. The tension from earlier fight had settled like a storm inside him, his jaw tight as he droned another drink. She had challenged him, defied him, and now she was testing his control in the most dangerous way possible. Ryan stepped into his study. Jungkook almost shattered his glass. His dark eyes flickered over her. His grip tightened on the armset of his leather chair. The dress, the confidence in her stride, it was a direct attack on his self control. Careful, princess, he warned, his voice dangerously low. You're playing a very dangerous game. Vine smirked, walking closer, her heels clicking against the marble floor. And what if I like danger? His muscles tensed. His wife, his beautiful, untouchable wife, was daring to seduce him after the fight. And as if she already did belong to him completely. You're testing me, she reached out, trailing her fingers over his chest. And what if I am? Jungkook's jaw clenched. He grabbed her wrist, pulling her into his lap in one swift motion. The air between them thickened, his breath hot against her skin. You think dressing like this will make me forget how you defined me? He growled. Vine tilted her head, her lips brushing against his ears. No, she whispered. I think it will make you remember why you can never resist me. Jungkook's lips captured hers in a bruising kiss, his hand gripping her wrist with the perfect mix of dominance and desperation. Van melted against him, her fingers threading through his dark hair as she gave it on the fire between them. You're impossible, he murmured against her lips, pulling her closer. You drive me mad. Van smirked, her fingers trailing down his chest. That's the point. A deep chuckle rumbled in his chest as he lifted her effortlessly, carrying her towards the bedroom. You love pushing me, don't you? She bit her lips, eyes gleaming with mischief. Only because I know you will always pull me back. Jungkook's eye darkened with something deeper than lust, possessiveness, devotion, and unshakable need. Always. The night was a blur of heated whispers, tangled sheets, and passionate promises. Vine had played her game. But in the end, they both knew the truth. She belonged to him, and he belongs to her. By morning, the tension from their fight had faded into nothing. Jungkook lay beside her, his arms draped protectively over her waist as she traced soft patterns on his bare chest. You're not a prisoner, Van, he murmured, pressing a kiss to her forehead. But I will always protect what's mine. She smiled, resting her head against him, and I will always find new ways to remind you that I'm not afraid of you. Jungkook smirked, tilting her chin up to meet his gaze. Then you better be ready for me to keep reminding you who you belong to. Van laughed softly, pressing a teasing kiss to his lip. I wouldn't have it another way.